Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Ryan. Welcome to another episode of Speak Up, the podcast that makes English feel simple, fun, and doable. If you've ever wondered how to speak English faster or how to feel less nervous when you talk, you're in the right place. We've helped thousands of learners break through those speaking barriers, and today, we'll help you do the same.
Hi, friends. I'm Priya. I know learning to speak English fluently and confidently can feel tough, especially when your mind goes blank in a conversation. But here's the good news. You don't need perfect grammar or a huge vocabulary. What you really need is practice, the right mindset, and some smart English speaking tips.
We'll walk you through daily English practice techniques that don't feel boring or difficult. You'll also learn how to improve spoken English in everyday situations, whether you're ordering food, chatting with a friend, or speaking at work. It's all about building real habits, one small step at a time.
And make sure you stay with us until the end. We're going to reveal a super practical habit that fluent speakers use every day, but most learners never even think about it. This one trick could change how you feel about speaking forever.
Now that we've talked about building confidence and how anyone can improve their spoken English, let's dive into a question that comes up all the time. Why do some people learn to speak English so fast? Have you noticed that? You might see someone who's only been learning for 6 months, and they already sound super fluent, while others are still stuck after years. It makes you wonder, right? Is it talent? Is it luck? Or is there something they're doing differently?
That's such a good point, Ryan. I've heard so many learners say, I've been studying for years, but I still can't speak fluently. And at the same time, someone else who started much later is speaking like a pro. It almost feels unfair, but here's the truth. It's not about being smarter. It's about using the right habits from the start. Later in this episode, we're going to share one daily habit fluent speakers use that most learners totally ignore.
Exactly. And that habit doesn't cost money. You don't need a fancy app or a native teacher. You can do it by yourself starting today. But we'll keep that one secret just a little longer. For now, think about this. What if the people who speak faster and more confidently aren't just studying harder, but they're practicing differently? That small change in how they practice could make all the difference.
Totally agree. And here's another thing. Speed and fluency come from doing things out loud. The people who improve fast usually aren't just reading or watching English. They're using it, speaking it, repeating it, and living it. That's what makes it stick. So if you've been quiet in your practice, don't worry. You can flip the switch, and we're going to show you how to do that step by step today.
And I think that's the exciting part, Priya. Once you understand this simple shift in mindset, you'll stop feeling stuck. You'll stop comparing yourself to others, because you'll realize it's not about being perfect. It's about showing up and doing the speaking. And again, we'll share that one key habit a little later. It's so simple, but it's also a game changer.
So stay with us. We're just getting started, and there's a lot more coming your way. If you've ever asked yourself, why can't I speak English like them? Don't worry, you're going to find answers today. In the next part, we'll break down the real difference between knowing English and actually speaking it. That's where the shift really begins. Now we've teased that one powerful habit fluent speakers use. Let's slow down and talk about something most learners don't realize. There's a big difference between knowing English and actually speaking English. You might understand grammar rules, have a big vocabulary, and even score well in exams. But when it comes time to talk, your mind goes blank. That's not because you don't know English. It's because speaking is a skill, not just knowledge.
Yes! And that's such a common problem. I've met so many learners who can write beautiful sentences and understand English movies without subtitles. But when they're in a real conversation, they freeze. That happens because speaking takes real-time thinking and confidence. It's not like writing an essay where you have time to plan. In real life, people speak fast, use expressions, and expect quick replies. If your brain isn't trained to respond that way, you'll feel stuck, even if you know all the words.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Reading about swimming doesn't mean you can swim. You can read books, learn techniques, and watch videos, but when you jump into the water, it's a totally different experience. English is the same. Understanding the language doesn't automatically make you a good speaker. You have to build speaking muscles, and that takes practice, not just studying.
That's such a good example, Priya. And here's another one. Think about students who do great on English exams in school. They get top marks, know every grammar rule, and can memorize tons of vocabulary. But when they travel abroad or try to talk to native speakers, they suddenly feel nervous and can't find the words. Why? Because they were trained to pass tests, not to speak confidently. Speaking needs a different kind of training, like practicing real conversations.
Yes. And once you understand that speaking is a skill, everything changes. You stop feeling bad about making mistakes. You stop thinking, why can't I speak fluently even though I've studied for years? The truth is, you haven't trained your brain to speak yet. You've only trained it to understand. But the good news is that can be fixed. That's what we're doing in this episode, showing how you can train for fluency just like you'd train for a sport or a musical instrument.
Exactly. So don't be too hard on yourself if you can read or listen in English easily, but still struggle to speak. That's not failure. It's just a gap in your training. And in the next part, we'll share how to build that training step by step, starting with one of the most powerful methods: fluency exercises that help you speak faster and more confidently without needing a classroom or even a partner. Now that we've understood how confidence and smart habits make a difference, let's talk about step 1, building muscle memory through English fluency exercises. Just like learning to ride a bike or play a musical instrument, your mouth and brain need training to speak English smoothly. It's not just about knowing the words, it's about training your mouth to say them quickly and naturally, and that's where speaking drills come in. This step might feel a little weird at first, but it works wonders.
That's right. One of my favorite methods is called shadowing. It's simple. You listen to a native speaker, maybe on YouTube, in a podcast, or even a movie, and then repeat their words at the same time, like a shadow. You copy their tone, rhythm, and speed. It feels a bit like singing along with a song. And the cool thing is, the more you do it, the more your tongue, lips, and brain start to work together. This is a powerful way to improve spoken English without needing a partner.
Yes, shadowing is amazing, but there's more. You can also imitate real conversations. Choose a short clip, maybe just 1 or 2 minutes, and pretend you're in that conversation. Speak both roles. It's like acting, but in English. This helps you think faster and speak faster without overthinking. I've seen learners go from slow and shy to smooth and expressive just by repeating natural dialogues out loud every day. It's real, practical, and it builds muscle memory over time.
Another fun way to speed things up is by using English tongue twisters. Try ones like, she sells seashells by the seashore, or red lorry, yellow lorry. These might seem silly, but they're great for building control over your pronunciation and speed. If you do a few each day, even for 5 minutes, your mouth gets better at forming sounds quickly. It's like a workout, but for your speaking muscles.
And the best part? These English fluency exercises are free, easy to do, and you don't need anyone else to practice with. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference. You'll start noticing that you're not pausing as much, not searching for words, and your confidence naturally grows as your speaking becomes smoother. It's not about perfection. It's about repetition and rhythm.
So, if you've been wondering how to speak English faster without feeling nervous, this is where you start. Repetition trains your mouth to move faster and your brain to follow. It doesn't happen overnight, but the results will come. And in the next part, we'll share something even more exciting: how to train your mind to speak English before you even open your mouth.
Now we've talked about building fluency through practice drills. Let's look at something just as important, maybe even more powerful. One mistake many learners make is translating everything from their native language before they speak. It slows you down and makes your sentences feel unnatural. Imagine having to stop and translate every word mid-conversation. It's exhausting, right? The key is to think in English, even if it feels strange at first. That shift can instantly help you speak faster and more naturally.
Yes, and it really is a game changer. When you think in your native language and then try to convert your thoughts into English, it creates a delay, and that delay hurts your confidence. You start second-guessing your words. But when you begin to train your brain to form thoughts in English, you skip that delay. It becomes more automatic, and you don't need a big plan to start. You can do simple things like naming items around you. See a chair? Say, "This is a chair." Or look outside and think, the sky is blue today. These tiny habits add up.
Another easy trick is to have short, mini conversations with yourself throughout the day. For example, when you're cooking, you can say, "I'm cutting vegetables. Now I'm adding salt." Or when you're walking, think, "I'm going to the store." It may sound silly, but these simple thoughts in English train your brain to use the language automatically. You're not waiting for the perfect sentence. You're just building a habit of using English every day in real life.
And here's one I really love. Keeping a daily English thought journal. Don't worry about grammar or writing perfect sentences. Just write down a few thoughts in English about your day. For example, today I felt tired, but I learned something new. It's not just writing, it's training your brain to reflect in English. And over time, that reflection becomes fluent. You'll be surprised how quickly your inner voice starts switching to English without effort.
That's such a great tip, Priya. Because once your inner voice starts speaking English, your outer voice will catch up quickly. You won't be stuck trying to find words during real conversations. It becomes smoother and more natural. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to make English your second nature. And thinking in English is one of the best ways to do that, even when you're alone.
Exactly. So don't wait for someone to practice with. Your brain is your best partner. Start small. Label things. Talk to yourself. Keep that thought journal. These daily English practice habits train your mind to speak without thinking in another language first. And that's a huge step toward fluency. Coming up, we'll talk about another fear most learners face and how to finally overcome the fear of speaking English without feeling embarrassed. So, now that we've explored how thinking in English builds fluency, let's talk about something just as important: daily speaking practice. A lot of learners think they need to study for hours to improve. But here's the truth: speaking English for just 10 minutes a day is often more powerful than studying grammar for 3 hours once a week. Why? Because speaking is like a muscle. You have to use it every day. And the best part? You don't need a formal classroom to do it.
Totally agree. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You do it every day, right? Practicing English should feel the same, and it doesn't have to be stressful or perfect. Try talking to a friend in English, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Talk about your day, your plans, or even the weather. If you don't have someone around, no problem. There are apps like HelloTalk or Tandem where you can find people from around the world who want to practice with you. It's relaxed, it's natural, and it's low pressure.
And here's another simple but powerful tip. Record yourself speaking once a day. You don't have to share it with anyone. Just choose a topic, like what I did today, or my favorite food, and talk for 1 or 2 minutes. Then listen back. It helps you hear your own voice, catch mistakes, and improve naturally. It's like giving yourself instant feedback. And the more you do it, the more confident and comfortable you become speaking out loud.
That's such a practical idea. Plus, when you listen to yourself speak English, you're training your ears and your mouth at the same time. And don't worry if you mess up. Mistakes are part of learning. What matters is doing it every single day. Even talking to your pet in English counts. Just speak. Keep the conversation light and low stress. Over time, those small daily efforts add up to big results in your fluency.
Exactly. And we all have a few spare minutes during the day. Use that time for short conversations or self-talk in English. You don't need perfect grammar. You just need to get comfortable using the language in real moments. When it's a daily habit, you stop fearing it. It becomes part of who you are, and your fluency grows faster than you expect.
So remember, daily English practice doesn't mean pressure. It means consistency. 10 minutes here and there, talking to a friend, recording your voice, using a language app, can change everything. Coming up next, we'll explore a tricky issue most learners struggle with: why you freeze when speaking to native speakers, and how to break through that wall with confidence. Now that we've talked about how daily low-stress practice helps you grow, let's get into something that really holds people back: confidence. Most English learners aren't struggling because they lack vocabulary. They're stuck because they're afraid of making mistakes. But here's the thing: even native English speakers mess up grammar sometimes. They pause, repeat words, say or even forget what they're saying. So don't expect yourself to speak perfectly. That kind of pressure kills your confidence.
That's so true. I remember once I heard a native speaker say, "He don't know." And I thought, wait, that's wrong, but no one cared. That moment taught me something important. English is about communication, not perfect grammar. The real goal is to connect with people. If someone understands you, you've done your job. So instead of trying to speak like a textbook, focus on making real connections. Say what you mean, even if it's simple. That's where confidence starts.
Exactly. And confidence doesn't come all at once. It builds with small wins. Maybe today you speak for 1 full minute without pausing. That's a win. Maybe tomorrow you use a new word in the right place. Another win. These little victories add up fast, so celebrate progress. How your sentences flow better, how you're pausing less, how you sound more natural. Confidence grows when you notice and celebrate those moments.
I love that. And here's a bonus tip that really helps. Slow down when you speak. A lot of learners rush thinking it'll make them sound fluent, but actually speaking slowly makes you sound more confident and clear. Think of great public speakers. They don't rush. They pause, they breathe, and they let their words land. So don't be afraid of silence. Take your time. Fluency isn't about speed. It's about clarity and control.
Yes, speed comes later. First, focus on speaking clearly and with intention. That's what builds trust when you talk. And if you say something wrong, smile and keep going. Native speakers don't stop conversations because of small mistakes. They're listening to your message, not your grammar score. Keep reminding yourself, it's okay to be imperfect. Confidence is about courage, not perfection.
So if you've been holding back, worried about saying the wrong thing, let that go. Instead, start focusing on the wins. Every sentence you speak, every time you try, that's success. You're showing up, and that's powerful. Now, in the next part, we'll dive into something that truly transforms fluency. How copying native speakers can train your brain and mouth to speak faster and more naturally.
So far, we've talked about building confidence and fluency from the inside out. Now let's tackle one of the biggest blocks for learners, textbook English. You know what I mean. Those long, formal sentences like, "May I inquire about the location of the nearest post office?" Nobody talks like that. If you want to sound natural and fluent, you need to hear and use the kind of English people speak every day, not what's written in a grammar book.
Totally agree. Textbooks are helpful for basics, but they miss real conversation flow. Native speakers don't say, "I'm going to the market right now." They say, "I'm heading to the store," or "gonna grab something real quick." That's what you hear in TV shows, YouTube vlogs, movies, the kind of English that's fast, casual, and full of expression. If you want to speak like that, you have to listen and copy how people really talk, not how textbooks explain it.
Exactly. Start watching shows you enjoy in English. Sitcoms, reality shows, travel videos, daily vlogs. Pay attention to how they ask questions, how they interrupt, how they joke. You'll pick up things like, "What have you been up to?" instead of, "What have you been doing?" That's the gold. And don't just watch, pause and copy. Repeat what they say out loud, mimic their tone, match their speed. That's how you train your mouth to speak naturally.
One thing that really helped me was choosing short clips from Netflix or YouTube and acting them out. I'd listen to 10 seconds, pause, then say it out loud, just like the actor. It's a fun way to practice, and you'll start picking up phrases, idioms, and even slang that you can actually use in real life. And you know what? After a few weeks, you'll start sounding more fluent without even trying.
That's the power of real-life input. And it's okay if you don't understand every single word. Just focus on the rhythm, the tone, the structure. Your brain will start recognizing patterns and sounds much faster than if you were just reading grammar rules. And when you use these phrases in conversations, people will instantly notice. You don't sound like a student anymore. You sound like someone who lives in the language.
So if you've been stuck in the textbook world, it's time to step out. Start mixing real-life English into your daily routine. Watch something fun, listen, copy, act it out. You'll be surprised how quickly your confidence and speaking speed improve. And speaking of speed, in our next segment, we're going to show you how one daily trick can unlock faster speaking almost automatically, even if you're shy.
Finally, let's talk about the real game changer. You've heard about all kinds of fluency tricks, shadowing, watching TV shows, practicing with apps, but there's one overlooked daily habit that fluent English speakers swear by. It's something so simple, yet so powerful, that it might just be the missing link to your fluency. And trust me, you're going to want to start doing this as soon as possible. Ready? Here it is. Talking to yourself aloud.
Yep, you heard me right. Talking to yourself in English might sound strange at first, but it's one of the most underrated fluency builders out there. I know it sounds a little silly, but when you talk to yourself, you get to practice thinking in English without pressure. You can use simple words, ask yourself questions, and tell stories out loud. It's like giving your brain a chance to practice in real time. And here's the best part: you don't need anyone else. You can do this anywhere, anytime.
So here's how it works. Start by describing your day in English. For example, I woke up at 7 a.m., had breakfast, then went to work. Simple, right? Next, ask yourself questions throughout the day like, what am I doing now? Or, what do I need to do next? This helps you stay in English instead of slipping into your native language. You can even practice storytelling. Try telling a story about something that happened to you, but keep it simple and focus on the flow of the words. Do this out loud, and your brain will naturally start thinking in English more and more.
It's amazing how much this trick can help. Even if you're by yourself, talking out loud makes you feel more connected to the language. You get to test new words, experiment with sentence structures, and build confidence. The best part is, it's low-pressure practice. No mistakes to fear, just you and the language. Plus, you'll be surprised how much it boosts your speaking speed over time. It's a secret fluency hack that works wonders for everyone, no matter where you are in your learning journey.
I love how simple it is, yet so effective. So starting today, try talking to yourself in English for just a few minutes every day. It'll feel awkward at first, but I promise, it works. You'll find yourself speaking more naturally and confidently, even in real conversations. And the more you practice, the faster you'll improve.
Before we end, we just want to say thank you for spending this time with us. We hope you found some valuable tips that'll help you speak English faster and more confidently. Keep practicing, stay patient with yourself, and remember, fluency is a journey, not a race.
Exactly. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to try out some of the tips we shared today. We hope to see you back next time for more tips and tricks on how to improve your English. Until then, keep practicing and take care.